A small farm town in Iowa has been struck with such a heinous crime, and there are no witnesses. 8 people are dead, yet no one has been arrested for the crimes. Over 100 years later, the Villisca Axe murder urban legend, based on a true story, still is being told from generation to generation. Sometime around midnight between Sunday, June 9th and Monday, June 10th, 1912, a person or persons entered a modest house in Villisca, Iowa, and bludgeoned to death 8 people sleeping there, including 2 adults and 6 children aged 5 through 12. The killings became known as the Villisca Axe murders and are easily the most notorious murders in Iowa history. The murders spawned nearly 10 years of investigations, repeated grand jury hearings, a slander suit, murder trial, and numerous minor litigations and trials. The horrific crime made and broke political careers. On Sunday evening, June 9th, 1912, the night before the murders, Josiah, or known as Joe, Moore, and his wife Sarah took their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, to the Children's Day service at the Presbyterian Church. Accompanying them were Lena and Ina Stillinger, neighbors who had asked their parents' permission to stay overnight with the Moore children. The Children's Day service was an end-of-year Sunday school program. Sarah Moore was a co-director, and her children performed their little speeches along with the other Sunday school members. The service ended with a social mingling that lasted until at least 9:30 p.m. When parishioners left on that cloudy, damp, and cool night, no one suspected that neither the Moores nor their overnight guests would be seen alive again. They walked the 3 blocks to their home, cookies and milk ended the festive evening, and then all went to bed. Sometime after midnight, the killer or killers picked up Joe's axe from the backyard, entered the house, and bludgeoned to death all 8 of its occupants. By 7:30 a.m. on June 10th, Mary Pickham, an elderly neighbor to the west, became concerned that the Moore house seemed quiet and deserted. She called Joe's brother Ross, a local druggist, who arrived at about 8 a.m. to look around. His cautious inspection of the downstairs revealed 2 figures covered with a sheet in the back bedroom, and he also saw blood on the headstand. Ross stepped back and away from the crime scene and called Joe's hardware store, telling employee Ed Selly to fetch Marshall Henry, or known as Hank Horton, because something terrible had happened. Hank arrived at about 8:30 a.m., went through the house, and found, as he told Ross when he came out, somebody murdered in every bed. The partially cleaned murder weapon was left leaning against the south wall of the downstairs bedroom where the Stillinger girls were found. The killer had added 2 bizarre touches to the murder scene. The first was a 4-pound piece of slab bacon leaning against the wall next to the axe. The murderer had also searched dresser drawers for pieces of clothing to cover the mirrors in the house and the glass in the entry doors. On the kitchen table was a plate of uneaten food and a bowl of bloody water. All the victims were found in their beds, their heads covered with bedclothes, and all had their skulls battered 20 to 30 times with the blunt end of an axe. The ceiling in the parents' bedroom and the children's room upstairs showed gouge marks, apparently made by the upswing of an axe. Though Lena Stillinger's nightgown had been pushed up and she'd been left exposed, doctors concluded that she had not been sexually abused. Lena also had a bloodstain on her knee and an alleged defense wound on her arm. The Moore Stillinger funerals were held in Villisca Town Square on June 12, 1912, with thousands in attendance. National Guardsmen blocked the street as a hearse moved toward the firehouse, where the 8 victims lay, their caskets not only on display during the funeral were later carried on several wagons to the Villisca Cemetery for burial. Though there have been many speculations and theories on who may have done the murders, no one has been charged, making this case still unsolved.